Good day, I am Sir Mark. Let us discuss doing philosophy. When the term philosophy reaches our ears, what comes to our mind? In the Filipino context, the word pilosopo carries an undertone of negativity. It is associated with being overly argumentative or deliberately difficult to talk with. Nambabara, warfrake, palaaway, o nakikipagtalo. Take this as scenario. A learner boards a jeepney and deftly maneuvers herself into a narrow, unoccupied seat despite the crowded vehicle. An elderly woman interjects, exclaiming, "You're squeezing in even though it's already tight." The learner answered, "Grandma, where should I squeeze in then? Isn't it in the tight spots and not in the spacious ones?" These may appear funny, but in her response, she raises a valid point. By the end of this discussion, we will be able to differentiate universal and particular point of views, identify human actions that come from thinking on purpose, appreciate how doing philosophy can help understand life better, and lastly, engage in a philosophical reflection from a holistic point of view. Our best hope is to understand the meaning and process of doing philosophy and reflect on a concrete experience in a philosophical way. Philosophy is often considered as mother of all disciplines. Name it: sciences, mathematics, law, arts, history, business, politics, psychology, sociology, and beyond. It is the oldest intellectual pursuit as it dates back to Greece, India, China, and other parts of the world. Science is what you know. Philosophy is what you do not know. Science is what you know refers to the domain of knowledge that is built upon empirical evidences, systematic observations, experimentations, and rigorous analysis. Philosophy is what you do not know. It points to the realm of question and concepts that lie beyond the scope of empirical investigation. Philosophy is concerned with matters that often do not have clear empirical answers and may pertain to topics such as the nature of reality, the meaning of life, the limits of human knowledge, ethical dilemmas, and the foundations of existence. Doing philosophy is important in our day to day life. It helps us think deeply, understand different perspectives, and make better choices. Philosophy encourages critical thinking. It helps us make informed decisions, solve problems, and communicate effectively. It prompts us to reflect on our beliefs and understanding, learning to what we stand for. Consider this scenario: a simple glass of water. When presented with this situation, different individuals are likely to provide varying responses. For the optimist, they will see this as half full. The pessimist sees it as half empty. STEM learners see the liquid in the glass of mixture of H2O, possibly representing the analytical perspective. ABM learners look at the practical value of the glass of water, say for example 5 pesos, possibly representing the economic perspective. Hume's learners considered water as a symbol of basic human needs and its importance in sustaining life. Philosophers take a more introspective and abstract approach. They might question the very nature of the glass, its existence, its purpose, and the meaning behind why it occupies time and space. Philosophers could delve into the concept of identity and how we define something as being water. Allow me to present another straightforward example. How do we define a chair? What makes a chair as a chair? Take 10 seconds to answer the question. By definition, it is made from wood that is brown in color, has four legs, a seat, and a backrest. If that is the scenario, what if you encounter an object that is gray or white in color, has four legs, a seat, and a backrest? Would you still consider it as a chair? Your answer will be yes. But however, as we defined the last one, made from wood that is brown in color, has four legs, a seat, and a backrest. This is where philosophy comes in. Despite the differing features such as color and design, it would still be considered a chair since we have a clear concept of what constitutes a chair. Let's take a scenario. What makes a cat as a cat? Take 10 seconds to answer the question. Time's up. Sir, a typical cat has four legs, whiskers, fur in shades of ginger. It has a tail and pointed ears. Okay, what if the cat is black in color? Would it still qualify as a cat? Yes, sir. Why is it that a black cat is identified as a cat considering that a typical cat has fur in shades of ginger? And what if a cat lacks fur? Would it still be recognized as a cat? Yes, sir. But why is a cat without fur still identified as a cat even though a typical cat is identified for having fur? Additionally, what if a cat has no tail? Would it retain its status as a cat? Yes, sir. Why is a cat lacking a tail still identified as a cat, given that a typical cat is identified by having a tail? Here lies a matter that resides in our consciousness, a recognition that an entity remains a cat despite alterations to its characteristics. This phenomenon encapsulates one facet of the realm of philosophy. This mental exercise is simply one of the activities of philosophy. Pythagoras, credited with coining the term philosophy, identified himself as a philosopher. Much like us, individuals who are drawn to philosophy can also be categorized in accordance with Pythagoras' classification of attendees at the ancient Olympic Games. Number one, those who motivated by a thirst for material gain. Number two, those who are driven by the pursuit of honor. And number three, those who are dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. Lovers of gain can refer to individuals who are interested in philosophy for practical or material benefits. For career seekers such as law, business, or technology, individuals who view philosophy as a stepping stone to achieve personal or professional goals. Lovers of honor are individuals who engage with philosophical pursuits to gain recognition, prestige, or social status. Students or scholars who excel in philosophy to earn academic scholarships and reputation. Individuals seeking to project an image of intelligence in public settings. Lovers of wisdom are individuals who engage in the study of philosophy for the intrinsic value of knowledge, understanding, and the pursuit of truth. They thirst for knowledge and they love to engage in Socratic dialogue or questioning. They want to understand moral and ethical principles. They engage in contemplating the nature of their existence and their human experiences. They want to explore the nature of reality and consciousness. Philosophy is not about how many things you know as if you are a walking Google or Wikipedia. Instead, it is about the moment you think. It is the questions that lead to wisdom. Questions like, is it truly black? Does it possess inherent blackness? Or is it black because you say it so? Does beauty stem from the intrinsic essence? Or is it beautiful because you say it so? Then, what is philosophy? When it comes to etymological definition, the word philosophy originates from the Greek term philosophia, where philos signifies lover or friend, and sophia denotes wisdom. Valuable philosophers have held the belief that wisdom is a divine attribute exclusively belonging to God. We recognize that what our minds can comprehend is limited to knowledge. It is really impossible for human being to know everything because this possibility is only available to God. Pythagoras expressed the idea that complete and comprehensive knowledge or wisdom is beyond the reach of human beings and is a capability reserved solely for a divine entity, often referred to as God. This concept reflects a humbling recognition of the limitations of human understanding. Those who do not align with the notion of subscribing to God as the ultimate source of knowledge or wisdom are often categorized as either existentialists or atheist thinkers. One of the technical definitions of philosophy is scientia rerum per causas primas sublumine rationis naturalis, the systemic study of beings in their ultimate causes, principles, and reasons acquired solely through the use of human reason alone. It refers to the domain of philosophy that seeks to understand the fundamental nature of existence. By relying solely on human reason, this approach to studying reality seeks to unveil insights encompassing rational investigation to the nature of reality, often addressing questions related to the nature of existence, the origin of the universe, the principles of logic, ethics, and the underlying structure of the world. As what Francis Bacon quoted, a prudent question is one half of wisdom. You cannot solve the problem if you do not know the problem. So once you ask, you are almost half. The study of philosophy is unlike the study of other courses. The only prerequisite is an inquiring mind. One does not simply study it, one does it. Wisdom means the application of knowledge. Philosophy is not merely something to be passively learned through study, but rather it requires active engagement and practical application. Usually, questions are more important than answers. The simple act of asking a question propels you significantly closer to a solution and can generate and unearth new knowledge. Let us take a philosophical scenario. Who discovered the Philippines? Does that imply that if Magellan hadn't discovered the Philippines, the country itself wouldn't exist? Take 10 seconds to answer the question or even question the question. Time's up. A more refined interrogative statement might be, who named this archipelago as the Philippines? Let us take a philosophical scenario. Which comes first, chicken or egg? Take 10 seconds to answer the question or even question the question. Time's up. In this context, we can question the question. What does the question pertain to? Biologically or biblical? From a biological perspective, the principle of the timeline dictates that the egg comes first. However, in a biblical context, the mention of a chicken as an egg is not mentioned. Let us take a philosophical scenario. How about the statements like sunset, sunrise? Does the sun truly set and rise? Here's a humorous dilemma. Shake well before using. Should you shake yourself or the object you are holding? Tear here. Should you tear open the Tetra Pak or cry? No erasure. If erasing is not an option, proceed to alter, but ensuring you have adhered to your professor's instruction. Alternatively, if no erasure is a statement without S or not in the plural form, consider making multiple erasures to avoid following that instruction. Student is not allowed. If that is the case, team up with your one classmate to form the word students. This will invalidate the singular requirement and grant you access to the room. What color do you perceive on the slide? It appears to be green, right? But is it green because it is green in itself? Or is it green because you say that it is green? If you observe, in philosophy, being inquisitive is a common practice. Our younger cousins or siblings often bombard us with questions, repeatedly asking why. You will answer their question and they will subsequently inquire why. Why? Sometimes we cut them off with that's enough questions. In reality, this is a basic philosophical engagement. They are driven by a thirst for knowledge. Let us take an example. Why are you studying? Well, to finish schooling. Why is finishing schooling necessary? To find a job. Why is finding a job necessary? To have something to eat. Why is having something to eat necessary? Well, to survive. Why is survival necessary? All right, that's enough. You have so many questions. You see, there is an infinite regress of justification. We're unable to answer their questions any longer because we do not know what and how to answer. I know that I know nothing. Plato acknowledged that our understanding of things under the sun often relies on pre-existing definitions found in textbooks or those put forth by others. In this way, we depend on external sources as our ability to independently define concepts can be limited. For instance, when defining terms like atom, we draw upon definitions given by figures like Democritus and even sources like Google or Wikipedia. However, our capacity to craft these definitions from scratch is often restricted. This is a concept in philosophy that reflects humility, intellectual curiosity, and a recognition of the limits of human understanding. In philosophy, our exploration will encompass but is not confined to discussing, investigating, and attempting to capture the following: soul, freedom, responsibility, existence of God, existence of evil, logic, fallacies, being, death, things that can be sensed, things that cannot be sensed, reason, morality, wisdom, environment, society, transcendence, intersubjectivity, critical thinking, skepticism, opinion, and truth. Let us take examples of doing philosophy. We will try to philosophize the title of the course subject itself, the philosophy of the human person. Why philosophy of man is not the same with the philosophy of the human person? Take 10 seconds to answer the question. Time's up. The modern term man predominantly pertains to males, and this exclusive usage can be considered unfair for a feminist perspective. Moreover, in this course, we will talk about not how to be a man, but how to be a human person. Other analysis. Why philosophy of a human person is not the same with philosophy of the human person? Take 10 seconds to answer the question. Philosophy of a human person suggests a more specific discussion of philosophy of a philosopher or particular person. Philosophy of the human person, however, indicated a more generalized universal approach wherein the focus is on the broader concept of the human person. We will talk about the general, standard, principal perspective of philosophers. Why philosophical anthropology is the same with the philosophy of the human person? Take 10 seconds to answer the question. Philosophical means thoughtful and reflective approach to concept, ideas, and questions. Anthropology is derived from anthropos, meaning human being, and logos, signifying study or discourse. If we engage in philosophy, write philosophical reflections, or seek a broader perspective, it is essential to invest effort in comprehending and presenting a holistic viewpoint from various angles. We can liken this process to ascending a lighthouse, enabling us to observe different perspectives before articulating our thoughts. If I were to ask you, how would you go about writing a philosophical reflection on a specific situation from a holistic perspective? Feel free to devise your own methods.